On the wait for some people to join, of course. Of course, we have to wait for some folks to join. Go ahead and share this as you're coming in. Share it. Share it. Share it. Share it. Late night live. Share this. I don't know. At the last minute, I kind of had a little old school choir music flavor kind of come in my spirit. So here we are. Power belongs to God. Hey. What's going on? Hey, PM. Hey, Shanae. Fatima, Tiffany, Pastor Lisa, Prophet Jonathan Brown, my brother. I'm persuaded. Share this tonight. Pastor Jessica. Yes. I don't know, just like a little choir feel. And that I felt like maybe everybody could understand outside of this new stuff. Share this. We're talking about surviving versus overcoming tonight. And listen, you don't want to miss it. I'm persuaded. I got great joy before me. I will be Lord. I belongs to God. Y'all know this? Yeah. Share it. Share it on all your gossip groups. Yes. Share this with your good girlfriends. I need you to tag 5 people in the comments. Because tonight, we going there tonight. Hey, Elaine. Yes. Listen, when Terry directed this, I don't really sing soprano no more. I'll leave that for you, Elaine. Hey, Marcus, what's going on? I ain't seen you in a minute. Pastor Lisa. Hey, Pastor Chanel. What's going on? Y'all join in on y'all's parts. We have a big choir in the comment section. Straight. I'm gonna wait for the first for the first couple of modulations, and then we're gonna get into it. Nothing too hard for God. Power belongs to God. Nothing too hard for God. Share this if you have it. If you're just joining in, let me know that you're watching in the comments. Let me know where you're tuning in from, and we're gonna get started. There is nothing too hard for God. Nothing too hard. Hey. Nothing too hard for God. Power belongs to God. Hey, Christina. I had the circus animal cookie the other day. So good. So good. Hey, Jay. All right, let's get into it. So tonight we are going to be talking about surviving versus overcoming. I have, of course, you all know that I am a survivor of domestic violence, and um, I also have lupus with secondary Sjogren's syndrome, and so I know what it's like to survive. Right? I thought I knew what it was like to survive, to persevere through situations and circumstances that I was dealing with or deal with on a daily basis. So I thought I knew what it was to survive. And it wasn't until a couple of months ago, as I began to journey through my own personal healing, emotional healing, mental healing process, that I discovered the difference between surviving and having overcome or being an overcomer, the difference between being a survivor and being an overcomer. One of the last times I was live, I said, I think this was back in November, December, or something like that, because I haven't done as much recently as I had been. But I said that I'm not talking about domestic violence no more. We've circled that mountain long enough. We've circled it long enough. And so it wasn't until, hey, Apostle David, thank you so much for joining. Please share. Everybody who's on here, please share. Because I'm going to delve into some things tonight that I think will help all of us. Help free all of us. Hey, Ari, will help to free all of us as we journey through this thing we call life. So, I began to really like delve into my own personal story, my own, the things that I've overcome. I began to delve and kind of like do a deep dive into who Tiffany really is, who Tiffany has become, who Tiffany has, who she is, based on the lens of the things that she has experienced. So I said I wasn't talking about domestic violence anymore because I've dealt with it. And y'all have heard that story. Hey, see, y'all have heard that story. I've talked about it, and I feel like at this point y'all know that about me, right? And if you didn't, there's YouTube videos, there's videos on Facebook, and all of that. Y'all know this about me, and cool, great, right? But I said I was not going to discuss it in that capacity anymore because I was over it. Right. I was over it. I was done talking about it. I was done being as somebody who has been through this, you put yourself out there and you put your testimony, your story out there to be judged by people. And I had bigger things at the moment to worry about, and that major thing is my health. Some of you all, like, I go back and forth with whether or not I'm going to have hair, whether or not I'm going to wear my wig, or whether or not I'm going to wear wear my bald head. And I started to let it grow back, and then we just finished doing another round of chemo, and so I'm like just trying to decide, like, in the midst of surviving, trying to decide, do I let the chemo take my hair again, or do I just go ahead and cut it off, or what's going to happen? And just going through the emotional battle, the mental battle that you have to go through when it comes to, as a woman, your identity, your who you are, what you like about yourself, and how you like to look. And everybody has given me so many words of encouragement, words of wisdom, words just to kind of help, support and all of that. And it's great, and I appreciate it. But surviving these different storms, right? They cause you to do something that we all can identify with, and that is we find ways to cope. We find ways to cope, right? We have our defense mechanisms. We find ways to cope through our defense mechanisms and things like that. And I began to do a deeper dive and deeper search into who I am and what it is that I've become as a result of surviving. Hmm. Who have you become as a result of surviving? And so I went and I kind of like looked at, what does it mean to survive? Surviving means that you made it out alive through a certain situation. You made it out alive through the divorce. You made it out alive through the pandemic. You made it out alive through tragedy. You made it out alive through those things that you've gone through embarrassment, through rejection. You made it out alive through abuse. You made it out alive through rape and different family. You made it out alive. Give yourself a, you made it out alive. But did you overcome? You made it out alive, but did you overcome? You made it out of domestic violence. You made it out of that relationship, but did you overcome? You made it out alive through whatever it was that you have gone through, financial issues. You made it out alive, but did you overcome? What happens a lot of times when to make it out alive, we form these defense mechanisms. And even in when you start looking at ecosystems and the animal kingdom, you can see how we, or even animals, develop adaptations. That's the word that is used. They develop adaptations. They adapt to the new circumstance that is threatening their life in order to survive. I know you guys have heard of survival of the fittest. You've heard of survive. That in evolution, that change does not occur, that something dies off, whether it be something in nature. But a lot of times as we go through the circle and go through these cycles, there are things in us that we have adapted to in order to survive. One of my maladaptations, bad mal, one of my maladaptations in survival was detaching mentally from um, different circumstances in order to preserve life. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me know in the comments if you can identify with any of this stuff. I developed I would detach from reality. I would just deny. I would be in denial that this is what's going on, that this is happening. I denied it. I denied it. I denied it. I denied it. That's not really what's going on. It's this. And I would oh, what is the word? I would make excuses for accepting what was harming me, because it's really not, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I can survive this. I can take it. I can withstand this. I'm strong enough. At least that's what I thought. I'm strong enough. I'm I'm courageous. I'm powerful. Share this. Share this as you're coming on. If you're just now coming on, share this with somebody. I thought that I was the strong one. I was the I was the I was the go-to. I was the role model. I was this. But I also was struggling to get through this thing alive. Get through it alive. Get through it in one piece. Um, and not realizing that I was fractured. I'm still trying to pull myself through to on the other side to be alive, to survive, but I was surviving in pieces. Mm. I was surviving on pieces of myself, pieces of me, pieces of who I was becoming, pieces of the past, who I was in the past, pieces of that. I was surviving on those things. And that doesn't really serve you well when you're trying to be who God has called you to be. It doesn't really serve you well. So like I said, I was surviving. I was surviving. And it wasn't until a couple of months ago that I realized that I had formed these adaptations. I had formed these adaptations that were not healthy, that were not productive, that did not serve me well. Yes, I used them and they got me through that, but it had transformed me into something that I didn't recognize. It had transformed me into a person that I didn't know. And a lot of times I couldn't even see it. Mm. So while dealing with surviving this thing, this test, this trial, I'm also learning about me, and the things that I had gone through in the past had turned me into something that I did not recognize, that I did not like. Um, in order to preserve myself, my emotions, my mental, my physical, um, I had become something that I didn't even know. I didn't even know. And then I heard someone say, "You survived, but did you overcome it?" You survived it, but did you overcome it? So I'm thinking, it's the same thing, right? It's the same thing, surviving and overcoming. Ain't it the same thing? I hear, we talk about overcoming in church. Excuse me. We talk about we talk about overcoming in church. We have all these scriptures. We have all of these, little anecdotes and all of that and all of that. But I had compartmentalized pain. I had intellectualized pain. I uh, had started to respond to pain in an overly positive way that was not healthy. I had rationalized it. Oh, this is good. This gonna free somebody. Um, One of the things that when I was in my previous marriage, I, like I said, detached from reality. So there are periods of time where I don't remember. There were periods of time that I did not remember. I remember afterwards reading a letter that my cousins, who are like sisters to me, a letter that they wrote on my behalf of things that they witnessed that I didn't even remember. Whew. Let's go free somebody. Um, I, I just was finding myself displacing my emotions. They were no longer toward they weren't toward who had offended me or who had but they were toward the person who or people who loved me or looked to me, or there was a displacement that happened. There was projection as well, projecting feelings on others. There was the biggest one, I think, was denial. I think the biggest one that we can all identify with is the denial, and it's a defense mechanism that we use in survival, um, in order for us to avoid the reality that of what is obviously happening. Anyone on the outside looking in can see that this is an obvious thing. This is happening. This is happening, right? But we're in denial that it is happening. We're in denial that this could be happening to us. In denial that this could be happening again. Come on, somebody. That this cycle is repeating itself again. That you've allowed it, you deny it. No, it's not. This ain't happening. And so we use those in survival mechanisms in order to survive. I know, like, it may be a hard concept to grasp, but y'all know, like, ducks, right? When it rains or when they get water on them, it when it hits them, it just beads up. It doesn't penetrate the feathers. It just beads up on them. That's one of those things that that's a survival or an adaptation that they have had um, throughout years and generations since they have become into being. And that's how we are. We adapt to this. Yeah, my friend's ducks, Joy's ducks. Actually, I think today or yesterday was Joy's birthday. Anyway, um, we uh, we have those same type of mechanisms in order to get to the next level in life, or in order to get to the next stage in life, to preserve who we are. Um, we adapt. We create these adaptations, but the word. So I'm like, so what's the difference, right? What's the difference? I know surviving is like getting through, just alive, right? What is an overcomer then? It says an overcomer is someone who succeeds in dealing with or gaining control of a problem or difficulty. Someone who has succeeded in dealing with or gaining control of some problem or difficulty. What area in your life have you not dealt with? What have you not dealt with? What area of your life have you not gained control of? What problem or difficulty are you just trying to skate through? Mm. What area in your life are you just surviving? Where are you just surviving? Not thriving, not over. Where are you just surviving? Just getting through, just getting by, just coasting, you know. And I know that feels good. I know that feels comfortable. But where are you just not, you've avoided, you've denied it, you've repressed. You don't want to think about those emotions. You don't want to think about it. You don't want to deal with it. Where have you not dealt with the thing? Where have you not dealt with the thing? And it's seemingly has you on this merry-go-round and you're just surviving it. You don't enjoy it. You're not enjoying life. You're not enjoying where you are. You're not enjoying your career, where you work. You're not enjoying how things are going in your family. You're not enjoying your relationships. You're not enjoying your marriage. You're not enjoying your new singleness. You're not enjoying it. What areas have you not dealt with? So I found myself. Yeah. I found myself in a space where I was by myself. I mean, not like by myself, but like I was in my car. Usually my car is like the place that I go. I'll take a road trip. I'll drive in a heartbeat. Um, I will, and just to think and commune with God and get, and just kind of let out my emotions and let out like how I feel about certain things and kind of just get it out. Right. I found myself taking a little drive. This was a couple of months ago. I found myself taking a little drive. There was an area that I had not dealt with, that I was skating past, that I had repressed. Yeah, the cars where it's at, that I had skated past, that I was just I had blocked it out. It was almost like a fracture. I talked about I talked about the domestic violence. Y'all knew that. y'all knew that. Talked about that. But there was an area, a pressure point, a trigger for me. And I had to realize that this was something I had not dealt with. I had to get it out. I had to release. I had to, because that event was the root of the source of every thing that I had become, the good and the bad. I do too, Fatima. I cry. Listen, I will cry in a heartbeat. I will listen. I'll go to a place and I'll just ugly cry. But I had come to this place where I had not dealt with this one thing. And I remember, um, I remember, I wanted to share part of this journal entry with you guys. I've always used my life, my story, to help other people overcome or to come out or to deal or whatever the case may be. And today's no different. And this will be in my book, which is set to be released soon and is going to editing next week. And so I'm very excited about that. But it's also a vulnerable place because you get to share details about who you are, the good and the bad, with folks, right? So I realized that I had become something that I didn't like. My god brother, he calls me a derogatory word, affectionately. He calls me a derogatory word or a name, a name of a person. It's not like a cuss word or anything like that. But because I used to be so mean, I used to be mean. But that was a defense mechanism I was projecting. What had hurt me, I was now becoming what had hurt. I had become what hurt me. So if I couldn't, I didn't use my hands, but I would be very, no, it's not a Kirk word, but I would be very, I would just be very, with my mouth, with my words, I was very mean, and I didn't care. I would lash out, and I would make sure everybody knew that who, I was just that type of person. I would make sure I was gonna cut you down. You hurt me? Okay. I'm chopping with my words. So I had to realize that I felt like I had to protect me. Okay. Why do I have to protect me? I had to protect me because who didn't protect me? Who didn't protect me when they were supposed to protect me? Who said they would protect me and did not protect me? Who was I dependent on? And this led me back from one season of my life to another season of my life to another season of my life to another season of my life. And it stopped at that one event. that's where I can see that it started at this one event. And we're going to talk about that in the book. I'm trying to see if I can pull up this journal entry. But in this journal entry, I began to question myself. Am I just still surviving? Or had I overcome? And listen, when you begin to come face to face with who you are right now, not who you're gonna be, but who you are, who you've been in the past. When you come face to face with that mirror, a lot of times what we do is we try to make excuses for why we are where we are, or why we are who we are, why we've put on this armor, why we try to make excuses, right? But that's still just surviving. When you make excuses for where you are, for why you are, for doing this, and this is why I do this, and this is why I do this, and you come face to face with yourself. Mm-hmm. You come face to face with yourself and you say, oh, okay, I can rationalize why I am. And yes, you may have all the right in the world to be mean, to be bitter, to be resentful, to be any of these things, rebellious. You may have all the right in the world to be, just a renegade. But when you come face to face with yourself, you have to decide, am I going to continue to make excuses for where I am and what has happened to me? Am I going to continue to rationalize the pain? Am I going to continue to stay here, to be in this place? Am I going to continue here? Am I going to continue? Or am I going to overcome? Am I going to just survive this? Am I going to, because I can, all those defense mechanisms, yes, I can survive. But there's something that also happens in nature. You have, you have animals who have developed these maladaptations or these adaptations in order to survive. But guess what? It's a deformity. It's not beautiful. It's ugly. Like, what happened to this animal? Why is this, why does it look like this? It formed an adaptation in order to survive, in order to halt off its prey or predator. It formed these adaptations over the years. And you know what's so crazy about science and trauma? It changes your DNA. You're no longer who you were designed to be. You're no longer who you were created to be, because you've lived in survival mode for so long that it's changed your very DNA. And now that mechanism you pass down generation after generation after generation after generation. But when you come face to face with yourself, it changes you. Trauma changes you. But that's just surviving. That's just surviving. Overcoming. That's the good news. Overcoming says, I can get through this, but I deal with it. I have to deal with it successfully. I can't repress it. I can't because that's that deformity. I can't repress it. I can't project it. I can't make excuses for it. I can't live in some fantasy world in denial. I can't do that. I have to face it head to head, me to me. I gotta deal with it. So I'm finding the place that I want to share. Um, this was a um, realization that I had. I'm so used to um, I'm so used to doing, and that's part of my identity. I've built in a capacity to overfunction so that I don't have to deal. But if people really knew what receiving and giving is rooted in a place of my identity, um, it's really fear. I realized that my identity in Christ had been rooted in works when that's not what he's called me to. When I separated what I did from for him, what I did from other people, I did not understand where that left me. I was so used to overfunctioning, so used to overworking, so used to overproducing. I separated from myself, from who I am. I allowed everything that I did to define me. This identity about what I've done, what I can do, what I'm supposed to do, what I can do in the future, what I can do now, what I've done in the past, that has allowed me to tolerate things that I should have never tolerated. And I've built that identity, which has created walls to keep people out. Imagine you're working, and it still keeps people out. This is the first time I've ever been vulnerable. I'm purposely skipping some things because it's very personal. Um, this is the first time I've ever been vulnerable about over functioning and overcoming overworking with anyone. Everything that I have been through, everything I've struggled with, everything that I've seen, all of those things are now revealed. And now I still work to try to cover it up. cover up what it's made me. Because it is still a reflection of how I feel about myself, how I feel I should receive, what I feel I deserve. Working and doing, being there through all of it, adapting to go along with, even when I don't agree, even when it hurts. So I took this drive to begin to search for another way to cope. I listened to I listened to the, I listened to my prior coping strategy, and it was looking within, looking to self to do something else, except forgive myself for working. It's self-forgiveness for being always trying to be on, forgiving myself for how I acted, for how I did and overfunctioned. I don't want to be here in this space of surviving. I don't know who it is that I've become. I'm here, there, everywhere, and I'm nowhere at the same time. So that's just the part that I want to read tonight. We're going to have a series of these overcoming. Next week, I hope you all enjoyed this. Um, mm. Next week, we're going to talk about alopecia and losing your hair. And so my guest, she's going to be on, I'll have a special guest on with me next week that's going to join me. And we're going to talk about that. And because we're really dealing with surviving, overcoming, but this is all through the lens of identity. This is all through the lens of being, transparent and honest about where you are with your process, your journey, and to healing, to wholeness, to whatever the case may be. I do want to say this because we a lot of times will find and make excuses as to why we don't deal, as to why, we can stay in this lane of being comfortable and being complacent with where we are because of what's happened in the past. We have all of these excuses. But Jesus said, think not, like I've overcome the world, and there's nothing that he has not experienced that he did not overcome. And that same spirit that is in Christ is also in us through the Holy Ghost. And that same spirit will quicken our mortal bodies. And I know we talk about this as it relates to death, quickening our mortal bodies, but that body it has been dissolved. Will quicken you where you are now. Your body is just a part of who you are. You are a spirit in a body, living this human experience. Yes, your feelings are valid. Yes, what you've gone through is valid. Yes, your emotions are valid. But God, through the power of the Holy Ghost, can change your mind, transform your thoughts, your thought patterns, so that you can live the life that he has destined for you to live. He's called us to live an abundant life. You can't live an abundant life. You can't live in abundance just surviving. You can't live in abundance just surviving, just going moment to moment, place to place, and just allowing things to just happen to you. He didn't call you to do that. He didn't call you for that. So as we continue the next series, this series, as we get ready to launch the book, Overcoming, Pain, Persistence, and the Purpose of It All. That's the name of the book. Overcoming. Pain, Persistence, and the Purpose of It All. The purpose of it all. So I'm excited. This has been a long time coming. If you guys only knew, it has been a long time coming. I started writing initially in 2009. Started writing in 2009, y'all, and it just like, I don't think, this. It just wasn't right. It just was not right. I began to just like write my story, and that just was not. It wasn't right. And so when God says it's time, it's time. So I'm excited to do these. I'm excited. We will be back for doing 31 days of prayer in July. And then on July 31st, we will have the in-person prayer prayer revival night of prayer on July 31st. That is on a Saturday. So I can't wait. We'll be putting out more details soon, and I'm just excited about what God is doing. He's giving me the green light to go and to just do. And so here we are. She back. No. Uh, anyway, I love you all with the love of Christ. And you all have a blessed and prosperous week. If you're just joining, go back and watch the replay. Go back and watch the replay. Share this with your friends, your girls, your homies. Share it everywhere. Share it on whatever platform you're on. Share this. I believe it's going to help somebody. I believe it's going to bring deliverance to and healing, wholeness to someone's life. If it doesn't touch, if it don't reach nobody with one person, if it doesn't help anybody with one person, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do this as God says. It's not about, this is not for form or fashion, but God, get the glory out of my life, out of your life, your testimony. Somebody needs your testimony, as Pastor Mill would say. Somebody needs your testimony. So share it. Share it. Love y'all. Y'all have a good week.